Parshas Chukas. This is a shmuz adapted from the shmuzin of Moran Hagoyin, Reb Leib Chasman, Chesed Livrocha. It says at the end of the parsha that Vayetze oig melech haboshan the krosam hu v'chol amay lamelchoma edrei. It says that Oig, the king of Bashan, came out to confront Klal Yisrael, hu v'chol amay, he and all his people, lamelchoma. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, the Rebbeinu Shalom said to Moshe, Al tira oisai, don't be afraid of him. Ki biyotcha nosati oisai, for in your hand will I have delivered him. But the pasuk says, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe al tira oisai, don't be afraid of him. That means that Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid of Oig Melech HaBashan. And Rashi explains in Chazal, Shehoya Moshe yorei lihilochem. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid to wage war against Oig. Shema tamad leis chusei shel Avrom. Maybe there will come to his aid the merit of Avrom, which Chazal explain. Chazal explain that Oig had the schus. He had the merit of informing Avram Avinu that Avram Avinu's nephew Lot was being held in captivity. And because of Oig's informing Avram Avinu that Lot was in captivity, Chazal say eventually Lot was brought to freedom. He was freed. It seems that Og did a very great deed by informing Avram Avinu that his nephew Lot was being held in captivity. But Chazal in the Yalkut Shemini say that Og's intention of informing Avram Avinu of Lot's capture was one of murder and lust. He hoped that Avram, the Kanoi, the Zealot, would attempt to rescue Lot and in all probability be killed, thus enabling Og to take Sora as his wife. So his intention was murder and lust, that Avram Avinu should be killed, and that he would marry Sarai. The Yalkut continues that Hashem rewarded Og for this kindness that he did to inform Avram Avinu, that every step he took in informing Avram Avinu of Lot's captivity, he got rewarded for. He was privileged. His reward was that he was privileged to attain longevity. He lived 400 years after Avram Avinu's death, and he reigned as king and absolute monarch during that time. So we see that although Og's act of kindness, seeming act of kindness, was permeated with evil intent, nevertheless he got tremendous rewards of longevity and honor. It also caused Moshe Rabbeinu to fear to go to war against Og. This one act that he did, this act of kindness, brought about all this. And the questions are as follows. First of all, why should Og be rewarded with anything? if you would ask me, I would say he gets nothing for that act of for that act of kindness, because it was just permeated with murder and lust. Well, what kind of a chesed is he doing? It should be no value whatsoever. Secondly, even if we were going to say that Og's slight act of kindness, the most it could be is slight, because it was full of evil intent. Even if we say that there is some vigor left in this act of kindness of Og, but the reward that he got for all this was totally disproportionate. That he lived for 400 years, that he reigned as absolute monarch, he had kavod, and he had longevity. It's totally disproportionate for such an act of kindness, even if you call it an act of kindness. But it's a sort of a minuscule act of kindness because it had so much evil in it. Thirdly, this one act that that Og performed, this one good thing that he did in his lifetime, was only one act that he did. Again, and Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid. Moshe Rabbeinu, with all the schusim that he had, with all the zechuyos that he had, and Klal Yisrael, who were third Deya, they were the greatest generation that ever lived. This was the generation that merited to stand at Har Sinai to hear Hashem speak. They had zechusim too. So, Og's one act of kindness, which is barely an act of kindness, made Moshe Rabbeinu and Klal Yisrael fear Og because of that one schus that he had. They had many more schusim. Why were they so afraid? But we see from here that an act of chesed, as bare as it is, as minuscule as it is, creates waves in heaven. For this act, which was full of evil intent, he was rewarded so much. For this one act that he had, it should have been disproportionate to reward him so much, but he deserved it. Hashem said that that's what it's going to be. For your act of kindness, he lived 400 years after the death of Avram Avinu as absolute monarch. And Klal Yisrael, with all this chusim, were afraid of this one little act of kindness, barely an act of kindness, that Og had. We see here the meaning of chesed, the meaning of helping somebody, because it was through Og's message, through his report, that Lot was captured. It was through this that Avram Avinu was able to go to war and to rescue Lot. So it did bring about something good. We see here that even this bare, minuscule act of kindness, how much waves it creates in heaven.